Good morning. My name is Nora Mulligan. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your worship associate this morning. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 311 in your gray hymnal. Let it be a dance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Susan. I can't look down. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So I found out there's a real handicap at a museum because I can't. Anyway, okay. Start over. Good morning. You know, my name's Susie Dugas, and I'm the secretary of the board of directors. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley. Whether you've been with the congregation a decade or more, or this is your first time visiting us, we welcome you. Whether the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. Whatever your heritage is, we welcome you. We respectfully acknowledge the territory on which our church building as ancestral homeland of the Munsee, Lenape, and Wapenther people. Now, I have a lot of announcements. First of all, I'd like to thank the music committee and Blake for a very wonderful, successful concert last night. And our pledge drive starts today. Many hands, many hearts. So join us to have a sweet start to this year's pledge. Please stop by the pledge drive team table during coffee hour and pick up your pledge packet and a cupcake. What else is there? The UU-CHB Board of Trustees extends a heartfelt thank you to Hospitality Team 1, led by Ganelle Rydstrom and Daria Gregg, for the coffee hour we enjoyed in the month of February. The board also thanks Bob Hudson and his merry band of pothole fillers for all the work they did to make our parking lot and grounds safer and nicer to look at. Today at 11:30, in this room, Reverend Daniel will be leading a short session called UU 101 for anyone interested in learning more about Unitarian Universalism and what is entailed in becoming an official member of this congregation. Everyone is invited, including members who want a refresher course. Okay, I already read about the pledge. Okay, this is...
Childcare is available.
We have childcare?
Will be available, yes.
Childcare will be, during the, okay, so during 101, childcare is available. And there's a Praise Project, which is an original dance theater performance that opens doors into a conversion around sacred bodies, queerness, and coming into ourselves. As the performers crisscross memories and fantasies of divine encounters, the piece asks how we reconcile past experiences to make new meaning for the present, recommended for ages 15 up. So this is at the Bethany Arts Community Center, March 21 at 7 and March 22 at 7. I think that's it. Okay.
And one more announcement that was not written down is that Luke Widener has something he'd like to say.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everyone. So I am in another show. Some of you may know, some of you don't. I do a lot of theater, and I am going to be in a performance production of The Hello Girls, which is a sort of ragtime jazz musical about the first women in the Army. And it is being put on March 28th, 29th, and 30th at Irvington Town Hall Theater, and it would mean a lot if you guys could come out and see me. So.
For the most up-to-date information on these topics and others, please refer to our weekly e-newsletter and check our website frequently. And please join us for conversation after the service. If you're present in the sanctuary, please join us for coffee and conversation in Fellowship Hall. If you're watching the live stream, the link for our Zoom coffee hour can be found in the Saturday reminder in your email. If you are just recently joining us and would like to receive our weekly e-news, please email us at uucroton@gmail.com with your name, and we will make sure you're added to our e-news list. We also have yellow cards in the pews. Also, please remember to silence your cell phones at this time. Once again, we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley. Yes, that's everything.
Thank you, Susan. It is a beautiful day, even though it's so foggy. I love the fog. It is actually my favorite weather. This Sunday, as Susie told us, and as you'll hear more, we begin our 2025-2026 Pledge Drive campaign. Many hands and many hearts empowering our beloved community. And since 1926, this sanctuary has been home to houses of worship. In its 99-year history, our building has served as a Methodist Christian church, a Reformed Jewish synagogue, and since 1963, our own Unitarian Universalist community. Yet our particular congregation is older than 1963. We were formed here in Croton-on-Hudson in 1957. And before we gathered in this beautiful space, first we met at the Croton Community Nursery School, and then for several years at the Bennett School of Music in Croton's Upper Village. And the founders of this congregation from the very beginning believed in families, religious education, service, questions, and connection. In hope, in defiance, and as we do every week, we ring the bells of this 99-year-old sanctuary for hope and possibility. The young people in our congregation are invited to join our Director of Religious Exploration, Jane Podell, to ring the bells for hope and love and possibility. May those bells inspire us. We all have 1,000 blessings.
Our chalice lighting words this morning are anonymous. We light our chalice to signify our commitment to support one another in our personal and spiritual quests for wisdom and understanding. May the flicker of the chalice remind us to offer sensitivity, respect, honesty, generosity, and love to all gathered here. Now please join me in saying our unison affirmation. The words are in your order of service. Inspired by love, our mission is to seek our true nature, connect deeply and openly, and act for justice.
And would you now join in our songs of praise in English and Spanish, number 381, 382. The words are in your order of service. As Unitarian Universalists, we try to find ways, habits, to stay centered, especially in a world where we don't know what will happen day to day, in our personal lives, in our civic life. So we gather and we breathe. We breathe in and out. And the practice we have comes to us from the Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh, who writes, "This exercise can be practiced anywhere, at any time, in the meditation hall, in the kitchen, on the bank of a river, in a park, on a train or a bus, whether you are walking or standing still, lying down or sitting, even when you are working." Let us breathe together. This exercise is called returning to my body in the present moment. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Breathing in, I am aware of the whole length of my in-breath. Breathing out, I am aware of the whole length of my out-breath. Breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I relax my whole body. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, it is a wonderful one. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. There is a beautiful hymn in our Teal hymn book, number 1053, called "How Could Anyone?" How could anyone? And I invite us to sing it 2 times. We have a tradition in our congregation to sing a lot. And as our children join religious exploration in the fellowship hall, you're invited to, all the children in the service are invited to join Jane Podell, and we will sing them out. And this congregation was founded by people who wanted to make sure their children had religious exploration. It's a gift.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of blossom around every prayer you may know.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yahya Lazrak. I take they, them pronouns, and I'm one of the 4 members of this year's Pledge Drive Committee, alongside my partner Megan and Matt and Christine Clayton. And first of all, I want to thank everyone who made cupcakes. After the service, please come find the Pledge Drive table to receive your packet, and you will be rewarded with a cupcake. I wanted to thank Betsy Tomic, Sherry, Pat, Megan Huppick, and Selma made cupcakes yesterday that we are using today as well, so thank you. Over the next 4 Sundays, you're going to be hearing testimonials from a diversity of members of this congregation. And so today, I would like to welcome up to the pulpit Luke, who will be representing the voice of the youth in the congregation for this year's Pledge Drive. So, Luke, thank you so much.
Good morning. That still gives me so much joy. You guys have no idea. Hearing good morning back. Good morning. So, thank you so much to the Pledge Committee again for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Luke Widener. I am a senior at Sleepy Hollow High School, and I have been attending this church for as long as I can remember. Throughout my life, I have had varying levels of participation. When I was younger, I would sit in this room yearning to get out. Go Now in Peace was my anthem for freedom, and the assortment of snacks post-service were, to me, a banquet. I imagine some of the kids feel that too. I remember Ari used to be in the room downstairs, which I think now just serves as a storage space. Last year, I ventured back into that room, curious about what memories might stir. The one thing that stuck out was the floor. The floor is like made up of the colorful foam puzzle pieces. I kind of really like those. Probably because I would often be paying attention to those instead of the lessons being taught. Yeah, I would always be fooling around, and I won't lie, I did not pay the most attention during RE. And church wasn't a place that I considered to be, oh, so amazing. It wasn't, and that has changed as time passed. But my appreciation for church came later than I wish it had. This little regret I feel is because I had the misfortune of going through the church's coming of age and owl journeys, mostly during COVID. So the lessons I know now to be a part of RE and all those programs are ones so incredibly valuable to a young teenager, and I didn't get that. I wish I had learned those lessons then, but I couldn't focus on Zoom church because it was not engaging enough as it needed to be for me, which is no one's fault. COVID was a mess. A couple years later, in my sophomore year of high school, I started working as an RE assistant. that is when I really started to realize the importance of RE coming of age and out, and the lessons that come with them. I really started because it was a good source of income for a kid my age. However, what quickly became apparent to me was the clear relevance and importance of the lessons taught in RE. It may be that I didn't get the most out of RE as a child, but this job, working as an RE assistant, has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life to date. To help the kids in understanding these lessons and topics and engaging with them is so fun, and it's pretty powerful. And I get to learn them again because I didn't really pay attention. Plus, it feels good and it's fun. And through my increased presence here at church, I have not only reconnected with this amazing community, but also connected to my spiritual side. One of my favorite practices in our services is the moment of meditation. Reverend Daniel holds, we just did it. So it happens before RE, so whether I'm working or not, I get that chance to pause and breathe. In general, that type of pause has done wonders for me. In fact, my implementing a pause into other parts of my life was actually what I wrote about for my college essay. When I was deciding how I wanted to approach this testimonial, it was clear to me that the key aspect of my experience at UUCHV has been my journey. Now, as I prepare to head off to college, I feel more connected to this community than ever before. I am so grateful for the support so many of you show when you come out and see me in my shows, and your appreciation for my occasional singing here. It means so much to be a valued member of this community. Thank you.
Hard to follow that. We come together in community to share with one another, to support one another, and to celebrate with one another. We bear sacred witness to each other in this honored ritual. As we begin, we know that there are both great sorrows and great joys in our world that must be acknowledged. We light our first candle to honor those in pain. Victims of violence and war and oppression all around our world. We light a second candle because we understand that amidst all of that pain, there is also celebration and joy in our world. Joy does not want to light. Here we go. We honor that joy and sorrow are woven together. For some of us here today, this has been a week of life-changing joy that needs to be lifted up in this worship. For others, this has been a time of deep pain and sorrow that needs to be shared to make the burden lighter. If this has been such a time for you, I invite you to come forward to light a candle, come forward over here, and to briefly tell us of your joy or sorrow. You may also raise your hand in silent acknowledgement of your joys and sorrows, and we will light a candle for you.
My name is Michael. My pronouns are he, him. It was a joy to have so many hands and hearts last night helping with the with Blake's concert. The music committee was wonderful. I especially wanted to thank Ginny Stillman for advertising and setting up and cleaning up. She was unbelievable. And Bernie and Selma and Kay for bringing food and Nanette for bringing wine. We all did it together. And Gil for serving, and Bob and Sherry for parking, everyone. So it was many hands and many hearts.
Hi, my name's Caroline. talk of the beginnings of our fellowship reminded me that my family moved here in 1957, so we're original members, and we would meet, the grown-ups would stay at the Bennett Conservatory, and the children would be scooted across the street for the kindergarten group. And I'm afraid I don't have any religious memories. My most vivid memories is of Jean Hill, who was married to one of the Bennett sisters, cleaning up there on a sunny day, and he said he hated to sweep up on a sunny day because the beams would come in and you could see all the dust floating around. So that's a religious experience for me.
Hi, I'm Margie Kemper. I use she, her pronouns. I wanted to dance down the aisle because I have two joys that are so exciting about our Fourth Fridays program. And for anyone who's new, that's a program for LGBTQIA youth that happens in Peekskill. This past week, I was on the radio with Casey Morabito, who's from WHUD. She just retired after 20 years, and she's now hosting a podcast. So what's going to be first on WHUD will be saved forever as a podcast. And she asked me to talk about LGBTQIA issues in an educational way and to explain what the letters mean, and I was able to go in depth with that. And I'm really excited about her audience hearing that. And the second joy is last Christmas, Jim Russell was listening to New York Public Radio, and he heard about an organization that was offering a community outreach grant for people who work with trans youth. So our team of volunteers and many of our family and friends nominated Fourth Fridays, and we are one of 3 organizations who've been named as finalists. And that also will be held forever. We'll have now 2 really positive links to be able to direct people to, and that one comes with a sizable financial donation as well. So we're very happy about all that.
Hi. You'll have to bear with me. I get teary when I talk about things in front of people. Okay.
Get closer to me.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm a shorty. Okay. I guess there's 2 or 3 things. And I guess there are things I'm grateful for. And one that I think is pretty interesting at this time, with all the uncertainty that's going around, and I tend to be on a seesaw with it all. I realize that it makes the beauty and the joy and the appreciation for miracles and just it just gets me more in touch. And I think that's lovely. It's sort of funny. It's like the yin-yang of it all. And I like that, and I'm, and then another thing, you folks probably all know this, and I'm not that involved, but they just put out a April 5th. It's going to be a nationwide mobilization for everyone to walk to save democracy and to change things, and that's pretty cool, because I know we kind of been wondering when somebody's going to really step up. And then one more thing. This is the last one. I get so proud of my daughter. I just want to share it. I think she's had it since she was a child in a way. She's 31 years old. And somebody else here is from Portland, Oregon, or like near there, Seattle. And she's out there, and I miss her because she's way out there. But she really likes it there, and this is pretty neat. She's like a disabled firefighter with the Bureau of Land Management. I mean, she's not like critically, but she can't work the front, so she works dispatch. She created 3 years ago, it's the 3rd annual, nonprofit. 100% of the proceeds go to the Wildlife Federation. And she has a run, she has a silent auction. I donated a lot of my art to it too. And, you know, it's like amazing. I think it's really amazing. That's it.
I'm overwhelmed. One more time. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ted Berkowitz. I just want to take this moment to thank you all for letting me share my work with you. Again, thank you and enjoy.
Hi, my name is Ginny Stillman, and I have a couple of mostly joys. Yesterday, I was at a big rally in Tarrytown. I'm going to guess there were at least 500 people there who were protesting the possibility of Medicaid cuts, health care cuts in general, and, you know, asking us all to get out there and let our Representative Mike Lawlor know how we feel about a lot of things that are happening in the government. So there were some great speakers, and it was very, you know, exciting and moving. This afternoon at 1 o'clock, I'm sort of helping to lead a little group of us who want to go hear more about Black History Month at the Bethany Arts. There's still room for a few more people. Anyone wants to go, it's about $10. And the Ossining village historian will be leading the tour. It's about an hour and a half. Should be very interesting. The other thing I want to say is I've been doing a lot of work with Neighbors Link, and they're providing a lot of legal help for immigrants. And there's something called a red card. If you have not heard about it, this is something that you can give to people that you know, maybe people who work in your home or do yard work, or people, you know, in a store that you frequent regularly, that they can carry in their purse, that they can show to anyone who approaches them, like an ICE officer, to know what their rights are. So if you're interested, see me during coffee hour. Thanks.
We light one final candle for all those joys and sorrows that remain unexpressed, and for those outside of our walls who are searching for a place to bring the wholeness of their lives and be received with love.
the moment in our service for a time of prayer, meditation, pause. Spirit of life and love and unfolding. Spirit bigger than the universe and smaller than a grain of sand. Spirit that is with us in small conversations that are actually gigantic. Spirit that is with us when we worry about so much that is unfolding in our country and around the world. Spirit that is with us in righteous anger and true grief. Spirit that is with us in moments of elation and surprise. Be with us as we seek to be present with one another today, this afternoon, this morning. Give us the courage to stay awake. May it be so. A few weeks ago, I heard a sermon from the president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, and she reminded me of a beautiful passage from the book of Deuteronomy that invites the listeners to consider a land with fine, large cities that you did not build. Houses filled with all sorts of goods that you did not create. Vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. Foundations to buildings that you did not lay. Appreciate, enjoy, and when you have eaten your fill, take care that you do not forget the Eternal, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of slavery. This passage is interpreted in a range of ways by a range of people, but it all points to this beautiful reminder that we are part of webs of relationship in a world we did not create. That we've inherited much, even as we try to change and adjust. We've inherited so much. Our foundations are so old. Our congregation's deep foundations stretch across the ocean to Eastern Europe and India, connect us to South Africa and Japan, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and also Philadelphia and Boston. And also Jerusalem and Chennai. Hubs and homes of religious seekers across centuries. But our most immediate foundations as a gathered community, some of our families were part of this, the year that we were chartered and created, a year of change, uncertainty, and deep questions, is 1957. In 1957, the most popular song on America's radio stations was Elvis Presley's All Shook Up. Bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm all shook up. But that same year, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, which no longer exists, launched into space Sputnik, the first human-made artificial satellite to orbit Earth. The hysteria and dis-ease this satellite's orbit caused among Americans helped spark the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union, culminating in President John Fitzgerald Kennedy's 1960 promise that the United States would put a man on the moon by the decade's end. That very same 1957, the writer and elder W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a founder of the NAACP, increasingly disillusioned toward the ends of his life by the slow pace of change in America, even after the World War, and even in the face of the growing civil rights movement, wrote, "How shall integrity face oppression? What shall honesty do in the face of deception? Decency in the face of insult, self-defense before blows." So in an environment where perhaps All Shook Up was playing on a car radio, where the Cold War anxiety and tensions were palpable and real, where a very real sense of America's racial and economic injustices were pervasive, a group of people bear the war. The National Unitarian Movement dedicated itself to helping support fellowships, small liberal religious groups, grow and be nurtured across the United States and Canada. The office was led by energetic, underpaid, overextended organizers who would leave their family to travel all around Michigan or head down to Mississippi. And they would visit groups of interested people, help them figure out how to place advertisements in local newspapers, share their rudimentary RE curriculums, which grew over time, tried to give inspirational pep talks, gave advice on fundraising, and did what they could do to let people know in communities from Croton-on-Hudson to Jackson, Mississippi, you're not alone. Other people want something better than what's happening now. Other people want a space where interfaith families can go. Other people want a space where you can be religious in a different way, where you don't have to pretend to believe more than you do or don't. Holly Ulbrich has preserved some of the original copy of those ads. One of them was this: what is your idea of true religion? Unitarianism is not an easy religion. It demands that people think out their beliefs for themselves and then live those beliefs. The stress is placed upon living this life nobly and effectively, rather than on preparation for an after existence. It ended, if you have given up old-time religion, Unitarianism has the answer for you. Another advertisement, which was somewhat more pithy, was titled, "This is the Unitarian Idea." So it'd be like in the Croton Gazette. This is the Unitarian idea. And it concluded, in religion, freedom is our method. Reason is our guide. Fellowship is our spirit. Character is our test. And service is our goal. Join us on Sunday. Amazingly, from a certain perspective, this program was remarkably successful. Over 300 congregations were formed because of this Cold War energy and activism. And if you look particularly at places like Mississippi or Louisiana and New Orleans, some of these fellowships became hubs of profound engagement in the civil rights movement, were some of the early spaces to be religious integrated communities. And many of the people in those fellowships were deeply brave. Their buildings were burned down. Their ministers were shot. Members received phone calls threatening them with death for attending integrated communities. That was not our experience here in Croton, but it's a reminder that when we talk about America as a democracy, we've really only been a democracy since the late 60s. In New York State, we are one of 17 congregations that were formed during the fellowship movement between 1948 and 1967, all the way from Freeport in Long Island up to Plattsburgh, closer to Canada. And our congregation was completely volunteer-led and organized from 1957 and 1960. And our first minister who worked with us for a year and was part-time was Burgie Haskell, who was a woman in 1961, female minister, very unusual, very brave. She was the daughter of survivors of the Armenian genocide, and prior to here, she served as an assistant minister at All Souls in New York. She was probably, I can't confirm this, I'm trying to find it in the records, a guest preacher before she became the minister at the congregation, but she served with us as a part-time minister for 1 year, and then she ended up becoming a professor of religion for a long, successful career in Massachusetts. A prominent religious educator and minister in our movement, the Reverend Dorothy Spurl, summed up some of the tensions and hopes of that early period in a beautiful essay that still holds up. Is our religious education religious? And Reverend Dorothy said, there is growing authoritarianism in American society, in the demands of those who would have education be more basic, in the attempts of those to revitalize the House Un-American Activities Committee, in the over-organized recreation and extracurricular activities of our children. Our religious education is religious when it is the quiet searching together of teacher and children to learn the attitudes of a Gandhi or a Jesus or a hospital worker is to begin to believe that all life is sacred. She continued, if we accept John Dewey's statement that religion is, quote, a quality of experience, the yardstick by which we measure our education becomes the actions which our religious commitments motivate. I'll repeat that. The yardstick by which we measure our education becomes the actions that our religion motivates. She said that one of our faith goals is to go from the facts to the awe and wonder which those facts hold, to face the unknown with curiosity rather than fear. Life is sacred, awe and wonder, curiosity, not fear, searching together, motivated actions. So how did that group of people in 1957, meeting in that beautiful music hall, how did they end up here? So as this sanctuary began as the Boscobel Methodist Church, you can tell the beautiful iconography representative of Methodist examples of the 1920s. And then in 1950, while it was still a Methodist church, there was a partnership with what was then called Temple Israel of Cortland, which is now Temple Israel Northern Westchester. And Rabbi Abraham Rudderman was actually installed as rabbi of that community in this sanctuary. But if we went in a time machine, whole room would be flipped around, because this used to be the back of the sanctuary. We all used to be oriented towards that. And people would come in through the bell tower back in the day. But at one point in time, the Methodist congregation thought we need, our viability is better found in partnership, and they merged with the Trinity Methodist Episcopal Church in Buchanan. They still exist, they're still going strong. They're called Trinity Boscobel. And then this building was empty for 6 months. And in 1963, when Surfin' USA was the most popular song in America, our congregation's board, with help from a grant from a wealthy congregation on Long Island called Shelter Rock, took out a mortgage to secure this building for future generations. And it's long since paid off, but that decision to make a mortgage was a risk. It was a risk that many hearts and many hands decided to work together to do. A group of about 40 to 50 parents and retirees, single folk and neighbors, serving on a volunteer board, gathering in an annual meeting, said, let's take a mortgage. Let's get the building. It was a bet. They didn't know what was going to happen. But it's a beautiful bet that they made. And it's why we're here. It's why we're here. And that same year, within barely a month of us coming into this space, under the presidency of Lee Culpepper, who was Carolyn's father, our congregation joined with other houses of worship in Croton and supported an interfaith fundraiser for civil rights, organized by the playwright Lorraine Hansberry from the beginning. And that same time, representative of the skepticism of 1960s Unitarianism, a member of this congregation, Ward Morehouse, whose wife our fellowship hall is dedicated to, whose son, John Morehouse, grew up in this congregation and now serves as a minister outside Philadelphia. Ward Morehouse decided one day to climb to the top of the bell tower and remove the old Methodist cross from the pinnacle summit. Because if this was to be a congregation that honored the prophets of all traditions, be a house of meditation and discussion and prayer for all people, then the bell tower should point towards the skies common to all of us: Christian, Jew, Muslim, atheist, Hindu, and Unitarian. Wonder and awe leads people to take risks for faith, for values, for possibility. In a few weeks, the religious education program is going to come forward and talk about our values, what it means to them. They're going to talk about words like interdependence and pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, equity, and love. Those words might not be exactly the same as the advertisement from 1957, but they echo that spirit of possibility and openness and welcome and defiance. So here we are in 2025. Two songs are competing for most popular. The year's too early. I was hoping it would be more decisive, but it's a tie between Kendrick Lamar's Luther, which includes the line, "If this world was mine, I'd take your dreams and make them multiply." And there's also a line from Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars' Die With a Smile, which includes the line, "If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you." And there's something about the hope and the tension and the despair and the uncertainty that even our pop music is speaking back to us. But in this moment, what a beautiful thing to have a space to gather, to be with other people who want to try to figure out what do we do at this time, who recall that this is not the first time that a group of folks and seekers are resisting people who recall Senator Joseph McCarthy and Governor Wallace and the House Un-American Activities Committee. We are not the first people to face organized chaos. And we're not the first people to take a bet on community and love and possibility. So whether this is your first Sunday, whether you've been here a long time, whether you're just passing through, you're part of this story now. You're connected to those people in 1957. You get to write the next chapter. What will our community do? What fateful risks will we make together in this community of connection, conversation, and discernment? We come together to empower the young and the elders, to work together across generations, to imagine and defend and cultivate hope, love, and possibility. Let's take a risk together. Thank you.
Okay, following that. Hard week. Each week we make an offering from the bounty we're blessed to enjoy. We do this in the spirit of love and generosity, aware that we've benefited from those who have gone before us, those who in their turn gave generously. Our offering goes to support the work of love and justice undertaken by this community. Today's offering will also be shared with Neighbors Link's Immigrant Empowerment Campaign. Immigrant families in our community face stark and immediate challenges. Neighbors Link has combined their deep knowledge of the low-income immigrant community with first-hand crisis relief work to create a vision for the future. Immigrants need legal services, tools, training, and education to keep their families together and help them prepare for the future. For more information, please visit their website, neighborslink.org, or refer to our newsletter or website for more information. You can make your donation in several ways. If present in the sanctuary, you may give cash or a check in the offering plate as it comes by. From your homes, you may make a donation via credit card or PayPal using the links provided in the e-newsletter or by visiting our website, uuchudsonvalley.org. Or, if you prefer, you can always mail us a check. The offering will now be given and gratefully received. Please join me in the dedication of the offering. The words are in your order of service. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith. And now please rise in body or spirit to sing our final hymn, hymn number 1028, the teal hymnal, The Fire of Commitment.
Thank
words are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, for not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
For many generations, people have gathered in this sanctuary across faith traditions, again and again coming to find community, hope, and love. May we encounter love, share love, and seek it now and in the days ahead. May it be so.